אדם.
In there, the drawing, it talks about raw desires long before they are connected to a person.
מפני שהרצון בעצמו לקבל
Because the desire to receive itself
הוא לגמרי תלוי בתענוג.
is completely dependent, pleasure dependent.
ואפילו שאנחנו מדברים שהוא יכול כאן לבצע כל מיני פעולות, לדחות ומשהו לעשות, אבל בזה הוא לא יכול להידמות לבורא. כדי להידמות לבורא הוא צריך שיהיה בו בפנים חלק מהבורא.
In order to resemble the Creator, it has to have a part of the Creator.
זאת אומרת, אנחנו צריכים להכניס לתוך רצון לקבל תכונת הבורא בכוח.
So what we have to do is to instill the property of the Creator into the will to receive by force.
וזה עיקר הנשמה.
And that part would be called soul.
אבל זה עוד רחוק. אבל זה עוד רחוק ממה שאני נמצא.
But that's still far from where we are.
Yes, but now to move on to God, and I suppose every first-year theologian is always warned not to speak or think of God as a person or as a human being enlarged, and that is how we all do tend to think of God, as a human being, however vastly enlarged, with the same properties. Now when we are speaking here of God giving, and me receiving, I'm not really receiving, I'm giving, because I'm fulfilling the ability of the Creator to give a gift to me. So I'm giving to the Creator. I presume that's accurate. So what I'm coming to say is, we know religion has nothing to do with God. Religion is a psychiatry, it's a therapy, and a poor therapy. It's a business, but it has nothing to do with God. We all agree on that. However, when we do come to speak of God now in this tradition, which has nothing to do with religion, are you saying that there is a need in God?
In Gematria, which is the Hebrew, the numerology of Hebrew letters, the value of the word God, Elohim, and nature is the same. In other words, the whole of nature equals God. This is God. Or you might call it
העוקף את כל המציאות,
the encompassing law of
אותו אנחנו קוראים לאלוקים.
This is what we call God.
חוק, הוא לא משתנה.
It's an unchanging law.
הוא לא משתנה, הוא פועל על כל הפרטים שבבריאה.
It operates on every item in reality.
כאן נגיד הבריאה.
Creature. נברא?
כן. אז זה הנברא. והחוק הזה פועל על הנברא כדי להביא אותו להשתוות הצורה לבורא, שיהיו שווים, שהבורא והנברא פשוט יתחברו יחד, שלא יהיה כאן הבדל ביניהם. מה כאן מיוחד? שיעשה את זה מלכתחילה.
So what's so special about it? It's God. It can do it. It can do it.
העניין הוא שנברא צריך לפתח בעצמו להיות דומה לבורא, להכיר את הטבע שלו, להכיר את הטבע של הבורא, לראות עד כמה שהם הפוכים זה לזה, לקבוע הטבע שלו כרע לעומת הבורא, וטבע הבורא כטוב מוחלט, לראות עד שהוא לא מסוגל לתקן את עצמו, לבקש מהבורא כוחות לזה, לחייב את הבורא לתקן את עצמו, וכל פעם להכתיב כאילו לבורא, כך תן לי, כך תעשה לי, כך תתקן אותי.
It's as if you dictate to the Creator. Do this to me, do that to me, give me that, give me that,
למה?
correct me this way, that way.
כי בזה הוא לומד איך להיות דומה לבורא.
The creature learns how to be like the Creator.
But the Creator has to give in order to be the Creator.
אבל הבורא חייב לתת כדי שהוא יהיה בורא.
הבורא זה חוק. הוא לא משתנה. זה משחק בתוך האדם, עם משהו אבסולוטי, עם סטנדרט, שנקרא בורא, ועם משהו כלפי זה.
With something absolute for the creator and with a person with respect to it.
And it's a postulate that it's an unchanging law.
וזה פוסטולט, כאילו שזה חוק בלתי משתנה.
Okay, thank you. My third is a far lower level question. You did say yesterday that Abraham was the one who first discovered the principles of Kabbalah, which is about, what, 3,900 years ago.
It was 1800 BC.
Yes. Which is very recent in the history of the human race.
שבהיסטוריה של המין האנושי זה לא מזמן.
כן, ודאי.
Yes.
Does not seem
לפני זה היה ככה, סליחה, לפני זה היה האדם הראשון.
Before that, there was Adam.
האדם זה באמת היה חי על פני האדמות אדם.
There was a guy called Adam on earth, a person like
זה היה האיש הראשון שבו התעורר רצון לאלוקות.
He was the first person in whom the desire for godliness awakened.
זאת אומרת, אם אנחנו ניקח את הזמן, אז היו אלפי שנה בני אדם, וכאן היה מישהו שקראו לו אדם. במה הוא היה מיוחד? פעם ראשונה בו, בתוך הלב שלו, התחילה נקודה שבלב. אנחנו דיברנו שבתוך רצון לקבל חייב להיות איזה ניצוץ מהבורא.
Of the creator in every person.
שזה התחלת הנשמה.
Which is the beginning of the soul.
הוא הרגיש את זה.
So he was the one.
כלפי הבורא.
The first one who felt it.
אם הלב מרגישים רצון לכל התענוגים שבעולם הזה, דרך חמישה חושים.
The desires for this world through the five senses.
דרך חמישה חושים, והוא הרגיש כאילו דרך חוש השישי, רצון לבורא.
And he seemingly felt through the sixth sense, the desire for the creator.
זה כבר התחלת הכלי. הקטן הזה שנקרא נשמה.
That's the beginning of the vessel called the soul.
What happened to his tradition?
מה קרה למסורת שלו?
גם לו יש ספר.
He also wrote a book.
שנקרא רזיאל המלאך.
It's called the Angel Raziel.
מאוד קשה.
It is a very very difficult book.
כתוב בשפה ברמזים מאוד קשים.
It's written in all very very difficult to understand, like hints and
insinuations. זה לא ספר לימוד, זה איזה מין רשימות פרטיות שלו כביכול.
It's as if he wrote things for himself.
אי אפשר לראות בזה...
באיזה שפה הוא שואל? הוא שואל באיזה שפה?
לא, אלינו זה הגיע בעברית.
It came to us in Hebrew.
אבל ודאי שבמה שהוא כתב אני לא יודע.
But he doesn't know what
כי עברית זה תוצאה מהשפה שהייתה שם בפרס הקדומה.
Because Hebrew is only a result of the language that existed in ancient Persia.
ושם הייתה שפה דומה לזה.
There was a similar language.
ארמית ועברית הם כאילו כמעט אותו דבר. ארמית קצת יותר עתיק.
Almost the same Aramaic is a little older.
אבל יכול להיות שלפני זה היה עוד שפה אחרת. אבל בכל זאת מאותה סגנון כאילו.
אותה משפחה כאילו. But it's the same family of languages.
מאיפה יודע?
אולי זה אחת.
כן, כן, זה ודאי. כן, זה משפחה, זה בדיוק
Yes, that's the family of languages.
אבל אנחנו קוראים את זה, אם מישהו קורא בעברית. גם היום אפשר לקרוא אותה.
But we read it today in Hebrew. You can buy it anywhere actually.
זה ספר קטן ככה,
It's a small book. It's about 100 pages. It's called Raziel HaMalach, the Angel Raziel.
תרגיע, רזיאל זה נקרא סוד. ובאמת שם כתוב.
Raz is a secret in Hebrew, and El is God. So it's secret. Yeah, secret of God. Such a.
ואחר כך היו יכול להיות עוד ספרים, אבל אנחנו לא יודעים עליהם.
And perhaps there were other
יש שמועות שהיו עוד
books,
ונעלמו.
rumors that were
והספר הבא זה ספר של אברהם אבינו,
And the next book afterwards is Abraham's book.
שנקרא ספר יצירה.
ספר יצירה.
זה ספר שכבר אפשר ללמוד, יש על זה פירושים,
That's a book that you can study, there are interpretations to it, explanations to it, there are drawings there.
יש לנו זה באתר.
We have it on our
אם
site.
תרצו אז אנחנו נשלח להם את זה.
If you want, we can send it to you.
או בדואר או באלקטרוני.
Either by mail or by email, whatever.
נשמח לעזור. ואחרי אברהם זה כבר בייבל.
After Abraham, there's the Bible. No, actually, the Pentateuch first.
שגם בתורה אנחנו לא רואים טקסט כמו שרואים כולם.
In the Torah too, we do not consider it a text in the way most people consider it.
כי בסך הכל מה הבעיה? כל הספרים, מה שנקרא הקדושים,
The problem is that all the what we call the holy scriptures,
הם נקראים קדושים מפני שהם מנותקים מהעולם הזה.
they are called holy, considered holy because they are detached from this world.
זה פירוש קדוש בעברית.
That's the meaning of the word holy, kadosh in Hebrew.
נבדל,
Separated,
מנותק.
detached.
כמו שתגיד לו, כמו שאומרים לכלה, את מקודשת.
Just like when in a Jewish matrimony you say to the woman, "At mekudeshet li," you are sanctified to me. So you like you're secluded, you're separated now, not from now, you belong only to me, not to everybody else. You're detached from the rest of the world. So that's the meaning of the word kadosh, holy.
אז כל הספרות שלנו, בכלל, כל הספרות, שכאילו שייכת ליהדות.
So all the literature that seemingly belongs to Judaism,
זה בכלל, היא לא שייכת ליהדות, היא שייכת רק לקבלה.
belongs not to Judaism, but only to Kabbalah.
כי בעצם האנשים האלו רצו לספר לנו מה קורה מעל העולם הזה.
Because in fact, these people wanted to tell us what happens above our world.
והביאו את זה בארבע לשונות.
And they used four languages, languages or terminologies to express it.
לשון קבלה.
There's the language of Kabbalah,
שזה לשון הכי מדויק, לשון מדעי,
which is the
מתמטי,
most
פיזי.
scientific, mathematical, precise language.
לשון של הלכות.
There's the language of halachot, which are laws, religious laws.
מפני שהנשמה שלנו,
But not religious.
מפני שהנשמה שלנו, הרצון לקבל הזה הכללי,
This collective will to receive
הוא מחולק ל-620 רצונות פרטיים.
is divided into 620 specific desires.
ככה. איך לתקן כל רצון ורצון? זה נקרא לעשות הלכה, לעשות מצווה.
So performing a precept means actually correcting each and every one of these specific desires of the 620 desires.
ועל זה הכוונה לעשות מצוות.
And that's the actual meaning of performing or observing mitzvot.
ולא שכמו שחושבים בעולם שלנו כאן.
Not like people think.
לעשות איזשהו פעולות עם ידיים ורגליים.
To do something with your hands and legs.
אז זה לשון הלכה.
So that's the language of halacha, of laws.
עכשיו, לשון של אגדה.
Now there's the language or terminology of legends.
סיפורים, כל מיני.
Which are stories.
גם כן לשם שייך ללשון של כל מיני נאומים
also
מה שמדברים לילדים שם.
speeches and
הוכחות, כל מיני הנחות, לא יודע. ועוד לשון של התורה.
And there's the language of the Bible.
שזה כאילו מספר על העולם הזה.
Which seemingly talks about
אבל מדובר כולו ודאי על העולם העליון.
But really all of it talks about only the life.
וממה זה נובע?
Where does that come from?
כי אנחנו נמצאים בנשמה המתוקנת, בגובה שנקראת עולם האצילות.
We are in fact in a state of corrected soul at a level called the world Atzilut.
כאן שם זה המערכת שכולה פועלת על העולם הזה, מפעילה את העולם הזה.
That is where the system that operates our world exists.
וזה אנחנו.
And that's us.
אז.
Oh, he wrote me.
Me.
As in we.
לא חשוב. אז, וכאן זה מחסום. למדנו אתמול.
And that's the barrier we learned about yesterday.
מחסום. אין בעולם שלנו משהו שלא יורד מעולם האצילות.
In our world, there's nothing that does not come from the world of Atzilus.
גם כוחות, גם חומר, גם פעולות,
Forces, matters, actions,
זמן, תנועה, מקום,
time,
כל מה
space,
שרק יכול להיות.
motion, everything that can only be comes from there.
ומה שנמצא כאן בעולם הזה, אז נקרא ענף, תוצאה ממה שנמצא בעולם העליון.
So what is found here in our world is a branch, a result of what exists in the upper world.
עכשיו, איך אני אספר למישהו
So how do I tell someone
משהו על עולם העליון?
anything about the upper world?
אני לוקח שמות מהעולם הזה,
I use
של
terms and
האנשים,
names
של הדברים,
names
של
of people,
הסביבה.
things, objects, environment.
כן? אני מתכוון על מה שנקרא כאן בעולם האצילות.
I actually refer to things that
אבל
are
שמות
there
אני
in the
לוקח
world of
מכאן.
Atzilus, but I take the names from down there.
ואז, אם אדם יודע רק העולם הזה, בשבילו זה כל הסיפור של בתורה
So
שנמצא בעולם הזה.
if all I know is what happens here in this world, then for me the stories of the Bible talk about this world.
וגם אז בורא הוא גם מתאר כאדם גדול.
And then you imagine the Creator to be a big person.
אבל מי שמבין שמדובר על משהו מעבר לעולם הזה,
But if you understand that it talks about something beyond this
אז
world,
הוא מחפש איפה זה נמצא למעלה.
then you look for where it is
ואז
up there.
מקובלים קוראים אותו טקסט של תורה בצורה אחרת לגמרי.
That's why Kabbalists read the same text in the Bible in a completely different way.
ואם אנחנו נפתח ספר הזוהר, אנחנו נראה ששם כתוב על הכריכה שזה פירוש על התורה.
If we open the book of Zohar, we'll see it says on the cover that it's an interpretation to the Bible.
Now, when you speak of the Hebrew Bible being owned by the Kabbalists, I presume, are you referring only to the Torah?
And as in the 5 books of Moses or the Old Testament?
No, the 5 books of Moses.
כשאתה מדבר על זה, על התורה, אני מניח שאתה מתכוון רק לחמישה חומשי תורה, כן?
כן, כן.
Yes. 5 books of
זוהר
Moses.
זה פירוש על 5 חומשי תורה.
The Zohar is an interpretation to the 5 books
Yes,
of Moses.
but you're not including the prophets or
אתה לא כולל בזה את הנביאים וכל זה?
אם אנחנו נדבר על זוהר, אז אני אספר להם שזוהר הראשון שהיה נעלם, אותו חלק שהיה שייך לנביאים ולכתובים.
Well, if you will speak more about the Zohar, then he'll tell you that there's a part of the Zohar that's been gone, that's been missing, and that part referred to the prophets, to the writings of the
אבל היום מה
prophets.
שיש לנו זה רק חלק הזוהר על 5
All that we have today
חלקים וגם לא כולם.
is the part of the Zohar that talks about the 5 books of Moses, and even that's incomplete.
May I, if I can recall the question I had about half an hour ago, you know, as scientists, we look at an array of data, experimental data, and we try to develop a model to explain the data. And someone over here looks at the data a little differently and might develop a slightly different model. And someone over here develop a slightly different model. And they talk about it and argue about it, and maybe an experiment appears to separate this one from this one from this one. And they do those experiments, and they go on with this kind of thing. And at the moment, let's say in particle physics, there is the standard model that is used to understand this. All models are only approximations of the truth. All models need refinement as we go along and learn more. And so the question that I asked before about the Kabbalah versus the Vedas and the Upanishads and in China And in China, they were writing about acupuncture a couple of thousand years before Abraham, and Japanese, etc. So these they all have models of the creation of the universe. Would you be content if I suggested that this is the Kabbalah model of creation?
מקובלים אומרים שזה מה שהם השיגו.
But this is what they have attained.
I understand.
במשך אלפי שנה,
Thousands of years.
וזה מה שהם
I
כתבו.
understand.
This is what they wrote.
Yes.
מי שלא הולך ללמוד ולהשיג מה שהם משיגים,
Those who do not learn and attain what they attain
הוא לא מבין על מה הם מדברים.
cannot understand what they're talking about.
אין ברירה, אי אפשר לראות את הסוף
But that's the way
בלי
models
לעבור כל
are.
הדרך.
You can't see the end without going through the whole way.
אני לא יכול להוכיח לו שזה נכון או לא נכון.
You cannot prove that it's either correct or incorrect.
That's the point. It seems to me all of these are approximations to the truth. And the truth is always different than a model. And in general, many different models come into existence, but it takes a lot of time to assimilate any of them. And I would be part of my difficulty in reading your book, for example, was that you seem to be presenting the Kabbalah as the truth, and it read like dogma. And whereas
דוגמה נקרא שהוא צריך לקבל באמונה שלמה, אחרת לא יכול להתקדם.
Dogma means that you have to accept something with eyes shut, otherwise you cannot advance.
כאן לא דורשים ממנו
yes,
ניסיון.
but
דורשים ממנו כל הזמן חקירה.
let me continue. If you would shade your writing on the issue to imply that this is the Kabbalah model, which is internally self-consistent. It's internally self-consistent. It explains a great body of experience and thinking, and it may be that other large groups of people have other models that also explain creation as we know it up till now. That's all. I mean, that's the issue that in the science, generally that's what we have to do as scientists. Some people get stuck in the dogma of science. But we should, I think, be open to the fact that there are other powerful models, useful models. And at the moment, we may not be able to distinguish the predictability of one from another, because we haven't evolved far.
מה הוא היה ממליץ לי לעשות? ללכת לבדוק בכל מיני אמונות אחרות?
What would you recommend for him to do? To explore other faiths?
להיות שקוע בהן שנים?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. Just be open to these other possibilities and project it. It is a model. It is, and it's a very useful model.
So what does it mean to be open?
To be open to
means don't come in with the fist closed, but come in with the fist open. When new thought comes into, it means allow new thoughts to come into Kabbalah. Allow new
People come to me from other religions, completely different.
לאף אחד אין שום הגבלה להתחיל ללמוד.
No one is limited in beginning to study.
הוא יכול להיות שקוע בדת שלו ובכל מיני דברים שלו.
People might be immersed in their own religion or whatever.
הוא לומד חוכמה.
They're learning a lore.
הוא מתחיל לראות איך שזה עובד בפנים, בתוך עצמו.
That's not what we're saying.
No.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. You're not getting what we're saying. Listen, please. Listen. That's not the point. That's not what he's saying. That's not what we're saying.
And let me say.
I will say it as another way. It's hard to explain. In physics, we had Newtonian mechanics. It was wonderful. It explained everything. We were totally content with it. It explained everything. It was so exciting. We were excited with it. There were people that got up and said poetry based on Newtonian mechanics. It filled everybody. We finally found out God does it. This was the feeling. Freud was influenced by it. Law cases were decided based on this. It was the thing. Darwin's theory of evolution was strongly enforced by the Newtonian mind. And everybody believed it was right. And then came quantum physics. Now people don't accept new things when they come in. The first thing they react is, hit it out, we don't want it. We don't want it. It's wrong. Something's wrong. Even Einstein said, it stinks. Something's wrong. There's something wrong. And finally, after a while, the old guys die. They just die. And the new guys come up and read the new stuff and they get excited. And suddenly wait, let me finish. We realize that quantum mechanics is now a new theory, and it becomes theory which enfolds and encompasses. In my heart of hearts, I believe Kabbalah is an old theory. It's not a bad theory, but it needs to be encompassed with what we've learned about the world and how it works from many different cultures, including shamanic cultures and Native American cultures and Buddha.
May I add, because I started this aspect, but the issue is, here am I with the work I have been doing for the last 35 years. We're trying to make psychoenergetics experiments that can integrate with conventional establishment science. It's very different. I have developed a model which I find is very useful in explaining it. I know I have not proven it. I know it is not the truth. It is a work in progress. It's a theory in progress. And it will take a long, long time to prove.
כי הם משיגים את המציאות ממטה למעלה.
This is because you attain reality from below upwards.
יש חוקים
But with insights from above.
אבל עם תובנות מלמעלה.
How did he even know that? You make a statement like that. To me that's arrogant.
לא, סליחה. יש מציאות, יש עולם.
There is a reality.
שאנחנו לא קיימים.
We exist.
יש בו חוקים.
It's got laws.
הם לא תלויים בנו.
They are independent of us.
אנחנו רוצים או לא רוצים, החוקים האלה קיימים.
Whether we like it or not, they exist.
ואנחנו לאט מנסים לפתוח ולהכיר את החוקים האלה.
We're trying to open them up and study them. Right?
It's a lawful universe and we're trying to study it.
לכן אנחנו כל פעם מנסים לאיזה כיוון.
This is why we try this direction.
כאן דעה אחת, שם דעה שלי.
One opinion here, one opinion there.
אנחנו לא יודעים בדיוק איך.
We don't know exactly how to go about it.
כך תתקדם את המדע, כן?
That's how science advances, right?
Yeah, but it is, but I was bringing up the point of a model, and I tried to make it. In my own case, I have a model which I love absolutely dearly, as much as you love Kabbalah. But basically, I know it is just a model and I'm not completed yet. Maybe not even in my lifetime.
אני יכול להגיד על דבר אחד.
I can only say one thing.
ידע מה שאנחנו קיבלנו.
The knowledge that we have received.
איך להתקדם.
Of how to advance.
מעכשיו.
From now.
ועד השוואת הצורה לבורא.
To the point of equivalence of form with the Creator.
ידע שלם.
Is a complete knowledge.
אנחנו צריכים לפנח אותם לעצמנו.
It is for us to decipher it, to open it up.
אנחנו לא יודעים בדיוק איך להתקדם.
We don't know how to
כי לא
advance.
היה ניסיון לאף אחד.
Then it cannot be complete in you because you have to decipher and interpret it, which is nature.
זה כמו במדע.
Exactly, just like in science.
Exactly, we're trying to do this all the time. And so it's how do we, I mean, the completeness of it, portions may still be hidden. And so, you know, I mean, but so it's the issue is...
When I advance, I'm always in doubt.
Yeah, right, and so the issue is, all I'm saying is that sometimes the way you're expressing the Kabbalah is that it is the only way, and it is dogma, which I mean we struggle with all the time, and I in particular with respect to establishment science, because they think it's all it is. And there are millions of physicists stuck thinking that's all there is, and you face the same thing with those same people. They're stuck in one view, and you have a better view. I agree, we have a better view. But the point is, there can be many better views.
אני לא מרגיש זה בדרך שלי ובתלמידים שבאים או באנשים שאני גם נתקע.
Doesn't feel with the people that he encounters or the students that come.
הקבלה מאוד השתנה על ידי פסיכולוגיה מטריאליסטית.
Changed tremendously through materialistic psychology.
והשתנתה על ידי כל דווקא הדעות האלה של פיזיקה
through opinions of contemporary physics, the globalization processes and all that do induce many changes. Here he's just trying to explain something very narrow in a very limited period of time, so you can't do it anymore. If we stay all connected,
אני חושב אנחנו יכולים על ידי זה
then
לעשות
I think
משהו
that we can create
בהתפתחות לגמרי חדשה.
something that is a completely new evolution.
I would agree. I would agree.
יש תקופות בקבלה, אני מאוד מעוניין. זה כל המטרה שלי.
That's the whole purpose.
אני חושב כך, גם כן בקבלה אני רוצה להגיד, היו תקופות, קבלה מחולקת להמון תקופות.
Kabbalah is divided into many eras.
ולהרבה זרמים גם כן.
Many trends and currents.
ואני לא לוקח עכשיו בחשבון, ויש כאלה
Right now he's not taking any of them into consideration.
שייכים לתקופות של אסלאם,
ביוון,
קבלה של יוון, קבלה של
Greek Kabbalah, Egyptian Kabbalah,
קבלה של חריסטיאנים
there's Christian Kabbalah in Europe.
לקבלה יש המון משימוש שבא
The utilization of Kabbalah has many facets to it.
כי הדברים האלה אחר כך הולכים ומחברים באמת אותם לכל מיני.
Are later on connected to many things.
אני מסביר על האסנס.
He's just explaining the essence.
זה לא חיבור לכל הדברים.
Without connecting it to anything.
אני חושב ש כולם יודעים איך שהתחיל הרנסנס באירופה.
How a Renaissance began in Europe.
שכל אירופה הייתה אז בתקופת החושך.
Europe was in the Dark Ages.
והתחברו אנשים שהיה להם דעות חדשות.
And people with new opinions, new views came to a very small group in Italy.
ואחר כך זה גרם להתפתחות. בכל השטחים, בכל מה שהאנושות מתעסקת.
The evolution in everything that humanity deals with even today.
וזה התחיל מסך הכל כמה עשרות אנשים
started from nothing more than a few dozen people
שחשבו שצריכים לעשות איזה מין פריצה בחשיבה חדשה.
There has to be a breakthrough of a new kind of thinking.
מצד הקבלה אני אומר שזה ממש נדרש בימינו.
From the perspective of Kabbalah, I I think that this is essential today.
כמדע אינטגרלי, כחלק ממדע אינטגרלי.
As a part of the integral science.
ולכן אני מצפה שיכול להיות קבלה גם כן חלק קטן אחד מצד כל הדעות וחיבורים של כל
I think what Kabbalah to be
הזרם החדש הזה.
a part, and even a small part, of the union of all these new things that come together.
בכל זאת, היא עכשיו רק מתחילה להתגלות וזה...
It's only now surfacing. It'll grow.
If you actually look at, realize this wasn't the exact point that Rav Lightman was making, that if you look at the specific philosophers who triggered the Renaissance, the Neoplatonic philosopher Giordano Bruno and a number of others, they all actually went secretly to study with the Kabbalists of the era and ended up writing books that were considered heretical precisely because they incorporated Kabbalistic teachings in Christian thought. So that alone suggests that it's worth.
Really? I didn't know that. This is the New Hebrew.
Even Catholic.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, some of the Christian liturgy from the Middle Ages has incorporated Kabbalistic acrostic poetry in the beginning letters of the.
I'm sorry, who did that?
Some of the Catholic liturgy from the Middle Ages has incorporated Kabbalistic liturgical. It's a standard in Hebrew prayer books. The beginning letters, oftentimes, the Piyutim, as you know, incorporate the beginning letters of Kabbalistic sequences, and that tradition was actually secretly brought into some of the Catholic liturgy, so that some of the Catholic liturgy to this day, the beginning letters in Latin actually reflect Kabbalistic sequences. So that alone suggests that it's at least worth.
Oh, absolutely.
Devoting some time to.
That's not the point that I was trying to argue. It was just to be open to the larger perspective.
What you're saying is that regardless, let's just assume for a moment that Kabbalah is everything and the only thing and everything else is wrong. Let's make that assumption. What you're saying is it doesn't matter whether it is or not. That there will be no way to communicate what Kabbalah is if you turn around and start by telling everyone in a dogmatic fashion, okay, this is it, period. You're not saying one way or the other what truth is. You're just saying the moment that you come across as dogmatic, that closes the door immediately and says, and then when they say forget it, correct?
And if you think of it as a model, and you project it as a model, a very effective model from all the data, that is much better. Because it's open then. People can accept this is the best we know on this path, and this path is appreciated by large numbers. It's a good path.
What we're speaking about is a technique of communication.
Yes, that's all.
And if you don't mind my saying so, I've been trying to communicate the same message through already published literature by major scholars in the United States to Rob over the last few days, and we've had some very heavy conversations that mirror the conversations that you have had.
That's good to see, because I read the book you sent me, and it jumped out at me, and it bothered me.
I was going to, since that came up, I was going to say in the private conversation, but is that it's strictly a PR?
Yeah, right.
It's not a question of the actual content.
Well, it is, but there's something else here. We have to communicate from here as well as from here. What I hear is mostly from here and nothing from here. And the way that when I go into places, I don't always listen to what goes in here. I listen to what goes in here. And that's what I look for. And when I hear it, then I begin to pay attention. And until I hear it, I don't pay attention. Now I'm human. I am the man. I am the human being. I am all humans. That's how we are. We listen here, and if it hits here, we'll then listen here. But if it doesn't get here, it's like you got to feed this before this becomes a way. You got to feed this before this becomes a way.
Well, Fred, the reason I was going to say it in private, but then didn't, it was because I disagree with that. I don't.
No, you may. I don't.
Yeah, I don't feel that it's coming from that. I very much feel it's coming from the heart.
You do. That's fine.
And I think that the heart is in the right place.
I think it is too. I
Except
don't disagree with
Except
that.
that in certain things in the conversation and certain
Yeah.
things in the reading,
And the
just
reading, that's what I'm talking
are
about.
like chalk on a blackboard where it really.
But that's why I say it's a PR problem.
Yeah.
And
Well-
it has to do with, and I think it comes from the fact that after Kabbalah having been basically developed in isolation from the world over many centuries in a Jewish context, and now it's coming out into the world, and there is not a refined diplomatic language for presenting this material. For example, I don't think it's possible to right off the bat discuss even in a group of Jews, let alone in a mixed group, the question of the Jewish role in history in an easy way. I mean, that's just about the hottest topic that you could possibly bring up. And I don't think, for example, Rob necessarily, I don't know how deft a politician he is, but I would assume that almost nobody could bring that up on the first day of a meeting of a brand new mixed group of people. But that's the kind of thing that requires an enormous knowledge of the people you're dealing with and great tact and sensitivity and so on and so forth. Because it's such a sensitive topic.
When you're dealing with a system in which there are thousands of variables,
Right.
as there are in a sociological issue like this, it takes many millennia to gather enough data to even be able to make a crude model.
Well, I think one thing that I would say on the positive side is that without making any claims as to the specialness of Kabbalah, that as long as the material has a chance to present itself, and I think this is what Rob was saying, that it has an opportunity to stand on its own 2 feet. Eventually, people will relate to it because they discover for themselves it's worth it. Have a chance to judge for themselves whether it speaks to them or not.
It's a great path. People adhere to it.
There's another Kabbalist center here in the United States, in Los Angeles, for example. Rev Berg, and Yehuda Berg, and his followings and people. He's a very good writer. He writes in a way that gets to you here. Very popular kind of Kabbalah. Very popular now in America. They're making, I'm sure, big success. And this is a skill. I don't know where he got it from. He's a good writer. I met him personally, and I don't like it. I like you very much more. You, I feel connection with. Him, I don't. And so that's why I talk to you this way, because I feel connected with you to talk to you this way. I wouldn't say this to him. But his writing is really good. I mean, it's fabulous. Your writing is for academics only. It does not hit. It doesn't explain. It doesn't get to the heart of the matter. And that's what I want to see this come up. I want to see whether it's you or your students, it doesn't matter because it's not egoic. It's a matter of getting this stuff out. And we want to get the people. We want them to understand. We want them to feel. We want them to understand this. I don't know how you want to put it, what words you want to do, but it can't be so theoretical that it's like taking quantum physics to the masses. You can't do it.
I don't want to bring it to the masses.
Why?
Because they don't have questions about a question about the
That's where I disagree. I think they do.
I will
When
explain
I go out
the
into the audience and speak, I hear thousands of questions. Emails come into me. They want to know these answers. The questions you're raising is what people want to know. People are not stupid. They really do feel these things. They're waking up now. We need to recognize that in the world. And if we don't, we're making a big mistake. We can't be secular anymore. It's not time to only teach those who are worthy of learning it. We have to bring it out to the world. In my opinion, that's what I feel. That's what I feel in my heart. That's what I'm all about.
מותר לי לענות?
May I answer?
Sure.
אם אדם רוצה למלא את החיים שלו בתענוגים שנמצאים בעולם הזה,
wants to fill up his life with mundane worldly pleasures,
לא מהפגישה עם הבורא,
not with an encounter, a meeting with the Creator,
אז ודאי שהוא ימצא תשובה במכון שם.
then of course you will find an answer at the Berg Institute.
That bad.
למה? מלמדים אותו איך להרוויח
Because he's
בביזנס,
taught how to do good business,
איך למצוא כלה טובה,
how to find a good
איך
spouse,
לעשות זיווג טוב,
how to find good sex,
איך לשמור על הבריאות שם,
how to keep healthy,
לקשור
How to tie red strings.
מים קדושים
and holy waters.
וכל מיני דברים.
And
זאת אומרת, מטרה בתוך העולם הזה.
so the purpose is a mundane purpose.
I agree.
קבלה לא מטפלת בזה בכלל.
But Kabbalah has nothing to do with it.
אלא מעל המחסום.
It is only above the barrier.
אם יש לאדם נקודה שבלב,
If a person has a point in the heart,
התחלת הנשמה הזאת,
the beginning of the soul,
היא יכולה לעזור לאדם לפתח אותה.
then it can help a person develop it.
הכל שיהיה למעלה מהעולם הזה.
But it is all above this world.
אני לא אלך לשקר לאנשים
I'm not going to lie to people,
שקבלה יכולה לעזור להם להסדר את החיים שלהם
telling them
בעולם
that
הזה.
Kabbalah can help them fix up their life.
I agree. I'm not saying that. Of course I'm not
No,
saying that.
and I think the issue is not that at all.
That's not the issue.
The issue is that every once in a while in the communication, something is given which is dogmatic, saying this is the way, and this other possibility you suggested can't possibly exist, because we know that all I'm saying is that isn't the right way to communicate that. It's all we're saying. It's we're talking about a communication issue in part. You can do. I mean, the science. What you're trying to do is the right direction, and I honor that you want to do this at this level. It's an important level.
First of all, he thanks you very much for all these comments,
אני אשמע אותם עוד פעם ועוד פעם מה שאנחנו
and
מקליטים.
he will listen to them again and again using the
אני לא
recordings.
בטוח שאני עדיין בכל זאת מרגיש מה שהם רוצים להגיד.
He's still not certain that he can feel exactly what you're trying to convey.
זה בכל זאת 30 שנה ללמוד ולהיות בתוך זה.
Because for the past 30 years he's only been studying and was immersed only in that, so it's very hard for him to come out of
אם הם
it.
יבואו לישראל,
If you come to Israel,
אני אראה להם מקומות שלומדים,
he'll show you places where people learn,
מערות,
caves,
ועד כמה שזה מצמצם את האדם מצד שני.
and how much it narrows a person down.
Well, can I?
ואני דווקא מקווה על ידי חיבור איתם,
And he hopes that through the connection with you guys,
לעשות את הקבלה שלנו יותר פתוחה.
turn Kabbalah into something more open.
אבל לבד אני לא חושב שאני יכול.
But alone he doesn't think he can do it.
Okay, well,
אני מרגיש בפנים שחסר לחוש הזה.
He feels that he just doesn't have that sense.
well, it is my feel is that his heart, I feel his heart, is different, is not so dogmatic as some of the things you say and write. And therefore, I feel okay to say this to you, because I know at some level that you don't mean to do it this way. But now let me say, I have written a new book on our new work and the work of the earlier two books, and I tried to do it for the general public. My daughter read, and she couldn't read it all the way through, and she said, "We have to write a book about the book, Dad." So I understand the problem.
I believe one other problem is that for decades, Rabbi Lachman has had people come to him saying, "Teach us what's right."
Yes.
as opposed, or produce a book and people read it and say, well, of course this is correct, and now teach me more. And now we're talking about a difference between unsolicited and solicited then, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying that the unsolicited are going to look at it as dogma. The solicited say, well, of course it's right. Yes. They already are pointed in that direction. The unsolicited say, well, this is saying that this is the way it is, so therefore it's dogma, and I don't need to read another page.
I mean, it's something like that. Yeah, it's a good point. Because many people can be lost at that part of the path.
What is the solution here?
Well, I know, I'll use an example of myself. Even though, as a young man, I wrote poetry and could deal with things at that level, most of my life has been with science and writing things from that level, and I find it very difficult to not use equations as a shorthand to describe what I mean, and I use it. It's very hard to try to do this, and I've tried the recent book to do it without equations. One chapter I just had to use some, but it incredibly difficult. And I think of myself as a reasonable communicator if I try. So, and part of it is habits. And
but can't you back into a problem here? Can't you get into a situation? You have to limit it somewhere, because you right back into dogma if you start trying to write the book as comparative analysis between, okay, we want to compare this with this with this. Isn't it enough just to say, okay, this is the Kabbalistic model of creation?
yes, and I think that is, and if you could adhere to it, you adhere to it, and the writing is internally self-consistent with respect to being the Kabbalistic model of creation.
The way I would do this would be to say this is a model of creation. It's an ancient model. It's based on the wisdom of thousands of years. We can compare it to the thinking of this, how the Chinese medical system, or how they see the universe created, to yin and yang. We can compare it to this, and in making these comparisons, you're opening the door. This way, you can teach teaching, and then always go back and remember that your audience is Chinese, Islam, and they only know Chinese and Islam. They don't know you. But you compare it to them, and you, by metaphor, compare. Always going back to where they're always going back to who you're teaching, remembering the suffering that they're in, because they're limited. You're the light giver, so you have to understand that. And you also have to understand that you are only giving your light as you see it through your particular way of saying that. By your humility and your heart giving will awaken in them the same spark in your heart that you have in your heart. It will awaken in them that spark. But only if you can do this. You can't just teach it by itself. You have to always metaphorize. It's like doing magic. You can't. If you do a magic trick for somebody, you can do it. But unless you get their attention first, they will not see the trick. They won't even know how to be entertained by the trick. They won't know what it is. And I'm not saying this is a trick. I'm just simply saying that you have to get to where they're at. You have to understand that. It's a psychology. When you open your heart that way to them, they will respond to you. They'll hear you. Does this make sense?
I have to interrupt here, not as a translator though. You've all received the book Attaining the Worlds Beyond.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether you've read it or not.
I've read it all.
This is a book, and that's why you can say that you feel his heart, because what he's presented so far.
No, I feel his heart because I feel his heart.
It's like drawing heart too.
And it's not because of the reading. In fact, the reading a little put me off.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is, in that specific book, you can really get to the emotional side, to the side that experiences, to the heart of Kabbalah. Also, in our lessons, we always divide it into two parts. The first part is always, we call it inner work. It is written more in terms of attaining the worlds beyond. It is more about the personal experiences that a person undergoes in the process of studying Kabbalah.
ושם דווקא האדם כל הזמן נמצא בשינויים ובספיקות ותופס כל הרעיונות זרים.
And in that part of the lesson, a person is always in states of doubts and questions and various ideas come into mind. And then you take all of it, and in the second part of the lesson, you talk about the structure of the upper worlds and Olam Atzilut and this world and that and the vessel and the Tzimtzum and all that. But that is actually talking about the same thing, but from a completely emotional perspective, as opposed to the second part of the lesson, which is the more intellectual part of the lesson. This way you cover the entire human being. And we do that in every lesson. It's an essential part. That is the basic.
I mean, that indeed is a good style, but I found the book simplistic and redundant. And I was fascinated by this that we have talked about. And it may be it's just a different audience, but the fact is that the book, which I was happy to have gone through it, I underlined a very great deal, and I had things in the columns in saying no, etc. But